Okay, gentlemen, this says graphing linear and quadratic functions, and you're going to do both in your homework, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about graphing linear functions, okay? Because you guys know how to do this. We talked about this last year. I'm gonna write in this open space of example 1, just one example. Guys, you've been doing y equals 1/3 x plus 2. You guys know how to graph that, okay? When you go to the y-intercept, you plot 2. Okay, come on, smart board. I don't have time for you today, okay? And then up 1 and over 3, and so your line looks something like that, okay? You guys know how to graph a linear equation. Guys, y is also the same as what we've been doing with function notation, f of x. I don't graph it any differently, okay? Functions get graphed the same way. So we just need to be able to see that a linear function is graphed the same way a linear equation is graphed, okay? And you guys have been doing that and you're done, okay? So you'll have a couple of those to practice for homework, graphing linear functions. However, what we haven't been doing is we haven't been graphing quadratic functions, okay? I'm going to teach you today about graphing quadratic functions, but we need to get some vocabulary down first, all right? So the first thing it says, to graph a linear function, okay, we're going back to that for a moment, I'm sorry. To graph a linear function, replace the f of x with y. I'm sorry, it should say, yeah. Replace the f of x with y and graph using y equals mx plus b. So when you're given a function, f of x is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 2, guys, just replace the f of x with y and graph it. Okay, just like you've been doing. Okay, now that's gone. Now, to graph a quadratic function. And guys, I know this looks like a lot, but it's really no more than I would say if I were telling you how to graph a linear equation. Okay? You already know that, so I didn't type that stuff in here. I just typed in the steps you need to follow to graph quadratic. Okay. First thing it says, find the vertex. What that means is the graph of a quadratic equation is a parabola. Okay? And a parabola looks like this, or it can look like this. It can turn up or down, right? And the vertex is the minimum point, okay? That's the lowest point that it goes to, or a maximum point, okay? So the vertex is a minimum or a maximum depending on the graph. If it's turning up, then it has a minimum, right? This is as low as it gets, and then it goes back up again. If it turns down, this is as high as it gets, so that's a maximum, and then turns back down. Depending on if the graph turns up or down. This point is called the vertex, okay? Vertex, vertex. This point is an ordered pair. It has an x and it has a y, okay? And we have to find that. If you want to find the x value, if you want to find out what this number is, you simplify negative b over 2a. Now guys, do you know what those mean, b and a? Let me ask you this. If I said, solve this equation, y is equal to 2x squared minus 2x plus 4, would you know what a, b, and c are?
Yeah.
Okay, then you know what b and a are. Okay, for this equation, b would be negative 2 and a would be 2. Just like if we were using the quadratic formula. Minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared over minus 4ac all over 2a. Doesn't this look like part of the quadratic formula?
Yes.
Okay. All right. This part is how we find the x value. And I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to do another video for this one. Okay. But Alexander, I know you're looking at me with a furrowed brow, but do you see this is part of the quadratic equation. I mean the quadratic formula. All over 2a. Do you see that this is the x coordinate? Negative b over 2a. That's how we find out what the x is. How would we find out what the y is then? David?
Just plug it in.
Just plug it into the equation.